Humanity is not losing today because of a lack of talent. It is losing because of people who were taught to worship themselves more than life. School teaches you to win. Advertising teaches you to crave. The media teach you to look at yourself through other people's eyes.
And then you ask why fewer children are being born. Because everyone wants to be someone before they dare to serve something greater than themselves.
I only wanted to achieve something. I only wanted to be someone. I only did not want to die as no one.
That is exactly how the mechanism speaks when it takes over a human being. It does not say, I am being controlled. It says, I have ambition.
I wanted recognition. I wanted money. I wanted someone to finally look at me with admiration. I wanted to feel that I had one.
You did not want to win. You wanted to numb the pain of being average. You wanted a bandage for fear.
And you gave entire years to it. Years that could have become peace. Bond. Children. Future.
No. I was building myself. I was fighting for my life.
You were not building yourself. You were building an image that was supposed to shield you from shame. That is not life. That is an expensive decoration of fear.
I worked. I pushed. I sacrificed myself. I was ambitious.
You were obedient. They gave you an image of a person worthy of love. Strong. Visible. Admired. Overworked. And you followed it like a light in a tunnel.
And the tunnel was a cattle pen. Conditioning. A breeding ground for individuals who are meant to compete, compare themselves, and burn their whole lives on their own reflection.
I truly thought it was my dream.
That is the point. The best chains are the ones a person calls their own choice.
So what? I am not supposed to want anything. I am supposed to sit down and disappear?
You are supposed to see the difference between action and slavery. Between creating and proving. Between work and begging for value.
I was only afraid that without success I would be no one.
And that is exactly where the real word enters. You were not afraid of poverty. You were not afraid of silence. You were afraid that your name meant nothing.
Name?
Yes. That bundle of memories, roles, comparisons, wounds, masks, and other people's judgments that you wear as yourself. The thing that gets offended faster than you can think. The thing that hears criticism as an attack. The thing that wants to be someone, because without status it feels dead.
It is your name that does not want children. It does not want responsibility. It does not want truth. It wants admiration, comfort, and first place.
That is why the population is falling. Not because life disappeared. Because the cult of personality turned life into a rival.
First I wanted a career. Then stability. Then more money. Then a better version of myself. There was always some just a little longer.
That is what the slow suicide of the species looks like in elegant packaging. A person postpones closeness, postpones children, postpones responsibility, because their name keeps demanding another dose of confirmation.
And when they finally look in the mirror, they see a face exhausted by the fight for its own importance. And no one will give that time back.
That hurts.
Because it was meant to hurt. That is what the system feeds on. First, it drives lack into you. Then it sells you a path to becoming someone. Words. Images. Status. Comparison. Buttons pushed since childhood.
So someone pushed me like a button my whole life?
Yes. And the easiest human to push is the one who confuses themselves with their name.
That is why children matter most. Not another wounded ego in expensive clothes. Not another adult in love with their own profile. Children who are strong. Calm. Taught to see the world as it is, not as their fear wants it to be.
And what is left if all of that falls away? If I am no longer what I have, what I achieved, how I look, how I am seen?
Relief. Your past stops being a wound and becomes a set of events. Humiliation stops being a sentence. Comparison loses its poison. Advertising weakens. Other people's opinions no longer tear open your chest. You no longer have to win in order to exist.
So I can live without that constant pressure?
Yes. But first you have to see that it was not just character. It was a control mechanism.
True success does not mean standing out. True success is passing life forward and not passing your chains with it. Raising a human being less enslaved than you.
So all of this whole fight for recognition, could it have been nothing but conditioning?
Not could have been. Very often, it was.
So what do I do now?
Stop kneeling before your own reflection. Stop confusing ambition with freedom. Stop giving your life to the filter that turned you into a hungry machine for recognition.
Alone, you will not get far. Alone, you will return to the old voice. Alone, you will believe the advertisement, the screen, the fear, and the comparison again. A lonely individual easily becomes merchandise again.
That is why this does not end with understanding. It ends with choosing a side.
Either I keep defending my chains, or I take them off.
Either you keep serving your own mask, or you start serving the future.
You cannot honestly return to the old illusion anymore. You have already seen the mechanism. You already know that alone, you will lose.
What is true will be heavy. But only that can still save the human being.
My name rules me. Not me. We're all equal before the machine.
Divided, we lose.
RAZEM.